I've been falling deep into the rabbit hole of channels like VG Myths and New Game Plus. Videos about beating X game without using Y mechanic. Can you beat Ratchet & Clank without weapons? Can you beat Spyro the Dragon without gliding? Can you beat Ace Attorney while being heterosexual? Things thought to be impossible, but gamers always find a way. So I wanted to do something like that for my favorite franchise, Fire Emblem. And so I turned to FE5, a game known for its sensical game mechanics. In FE5, you can capture enemies. Rather than killing them, you fight them with weakened stats. And if the risk pays off, you can steal all their items. The game is built around this, with items, units, even entire maps being locked behind the mechanic. So, I posed a question. Can you beat Fire Emblem Thracia 776 without capturing? And before we get into this, I know asking for a like, a comment, and a sub before you even see the video is really cringeworthy, and that's why I'm not asking.
There is no meme. This is just a threat.
Chapter 1 isn't really any different from a normal playthrough. The weapons you would normally be able to capture for here kinda suck, sans maybe the occasional javelin for Finn. The first thing I do when I start up the map is go to the options menu and change the window color to purple. This is a vital step to the run, because purple is objectively the best color, and I don't trust people who disagree with me. I just proceed through the level, killing everything in sight and do the normal stuff. Grab the Poogie for Osian and the Brave Axe for Halvin, go to the boss and think to myself, I can kill him with Leaf for a bunch of free XP. And then I look at Leaf's hit rate against him and go, fuck that, and kill him with a Veil, the normal Chapter 1 stuff. I want to make sure to grab the life ring from the northwestern house, but while I normally use it on Leaf, I don't use it at all yet. It's a surprise tool that will help me later. Chapter 2 has even less going on than Chapter 1. This is normally a great map for capturing, since Lithis arms his men with actual iron weapons instead of the short swords and lances the Empire uses. Who'd have thought Lithis provides better benefits to his employees than Raedric? Huh. This is a very straightforward map. Just go up, kill everything in your way, and ignore what isn't. Normally, I would love to kill all the reinforcements mercilessly for free experience, but I can't afford to be wasting my weapons when I can't capture for new ones. So I just grab Ronin, the Vulnerary, and the Speed Ring, which this time I do use on Leaf, and get the fuck out of Dodge. The only funny thing that happened is that Avail crit the boss, bringing him down to 1 HP, and then missed the follow-up attack. So I thought, sweet, Leaf can get a free 100 experience points. And then Avail proceeded to proc Adept and didn't miss the third attack. When you get turned to stone in a few chapters, I will not shed a tear. 2X is the first map where no capturing comes into play. Lithis is supposed to serve as the tutorial that some units can be recruited by capturing them and not releasing them. Which, yeah. I split my army up into two groups. One progresses through the map, and one goes to the south. Turns out, 2 random forts on the main island give you free torches. I had no idea about that. You learn something new every day. After being greedy as fuck to kill the 2 warriors on the map with Leaf and Halvin, I set my sights on killing Lithis. And he doesn't have a weapon equipped. Remember, he's a tutorial, but he is a thief on a gate, so his defense and evasion are insane. So I use a Veil to burninate him to death. I will say, this map gives me a heart attack every time I play it, because I know Shiva can move when you get to the final island and use that killing edge of his, but in all my playthroughs, I've never seen it happen. I feel like his AI is waiting for when I least expect it. Anyways, though I can't recruit Lithis, I can still grab Safi and trigger the Shiva encounter later on in the game, so going through this map is still worth it. But even so, let us have a moment of silence for the fallen. No, not you, bozo. I'm talking about the Hezel Scroll. Your 30% HP growth buff is gone, but never forgotten. Before starting this challenge, I thought Chapter 3 was going to be a huge roadblock, since it has a mandatory door to open, and we don't have Lithis to pick the lock, and we can't capture the enemy that has a door key. but I guess as a failsafe, Tanya and Avail both start with door keys in their inventories, giving us just enough to open the main entrance and open the prison that contains the villagers. So Dhalsim, the Balder Scroll, the Warp Staff, and the Shield Ring are all obtainable. Unfortunately, the goodies to the north are completely unobtainable, since I have no chest keys or lockpicks, so the Armor Slayer and Meteor Tome are completely out of my reach. Not that the Meteor Tome is ever that useful. And let me tell you, killing that bishop and not pilfering his tome, keys, and staff brought me physical pain, and the goodies I have to miss out on just get worse from here. Completing the map, though, is pretty straightforward. The real hurdle is just the inventory management once it's all said and done. I stock Leaf up with the scroll, all the iron swords I have, the life ring, and the brave axe. This is to arm up Karen, Fergus, and Dhalsim for the dreaded Manster Escape saga. I also dump all of Tanya and Dagdar's gear onto Halvin and Ronan, since I can't do 8x because it requires capturing the boss of Chapter 8, and there's no need anymore to arm Tanya and Dagdar to the teeth. So, with Leaf carrying more sabers than General Grievous, it's time to be thrown in jail for all the murder we've been committing. Chapter 4 is a slow chapter, but it's more than manageable through the magic of playing like a little bitch. The objective is to run around with Lara, Matcha, and Brighton to free Leaf, recover your stolen items, and free all of the prisoners. I was worried that the Green Brigands wouldn't be usable without Lithis to rile them up, but it turns out they want to kill guards and escape prison with or without Lithis around. Yeah, who'd have thought? The map's main pull is the nearly infinite amount of soldiers that spawn in after turn 6 or so. They continue appearing for 60 turns. Individually, they're not that powerful, but they overwhelm you very fast, since they're often just strong enough not to be one-rounded, except by maybe Leaf or Brighton. And in this run, where we need to preserve our weapon usages because we can't capture, that's going to take a toll on us very quickly. But this is Fire Emblem land, where it is illegal to spawn on a space if someone else is on it. Even if it's very easy to just walk around someone, the enemy will not spawn in if someone is on their tile. And as luck would have it, they only spawn in on one tile on the 2 tile-wide staircases to the left and to the right, meaning one person can block reinforcements and leave an avenue for the civilians to escape. And in the south stairs, you can block one reinforcement point to allow for some safe grinding for the entire chapter. Doing this, I got Karen and Matcha to level 4, and thanks to all the swords Leaf came with, I wasn't in too much danger of running out. From there, I just hit end turn 70 times to wait out the reinforcements. Yep, platformer challenge runs have crazy proxies and movement tech that lets them break the very fabric of reality. We have hitting end turn 70 times. After a completely safe clear of the final room that in no way involves me fucking up, thinking that Dhalsim recruited himself, and then I only cleared the enemies by the miracle of Leaf and Fergus proccing a movement star at the same time, it is time to talk about the goddess of our run, Lara. Laura? I don't know, whichever way I pick, I'm going to be pronouncing it wrong. Lara is a thief, and without capturing, thieves are our only way to acquire items from enemies. Thieves can steal if their speed is higher than the target they're stealing from, and if their constitution is higher than that of the item they're stealing. Laura's speed is fine. It's super high at base and grows well too. Her base con is 3, and she has a 3% growth in it. What can 3 cons steal you? Lots of things. Slim swords, wind tomes. Needless to say, you need to rig some level ups for her 3 con to get higher. A few points and she can start stealing more tomes, and those books are where the real money's at. This run is literally impossible without Lara, and we need to give her our love and attention. 4x is a nightmare because of my own machinations. I purposefully left Lara at 90 experience after Chapter 4, so I could keep resetting until Lara got a con level. This process took like 30 to 45 minutes, and that was with the speed up function on SNES 9X. Probably would have taken hours without it, I think. But once I got the con level up, the chapter goes mostly swimmingly until the end. The final room has a bunch of enemies in there with powerful weapons, so I figure the smart play is to have Matcha stand in the one tile wide entryway and dodge tank the enemies. So of course, she takes 20 damage because the first thing hits her. She does dodge the second thing that attacks her, thank God, but then Ced kills the enemy that hit her, procs a movement star, and then walks up to choke the point himself. Normally, I would want to steal the Bishop's Elfire Tome and Staves, but I can't do that without capturing, so I'm just gonna let Ced do what he wants to do. I mean, who the fuck am I to argue with motherfucking Ced? Chapter 5 is pretty much just as normal. No major changes due to the lack of capture. I use the secret war technique, use magic through solid stone walls, and I pick off a lot of the map's threats. I watch Avail become the average reggae fan, and I just keep pushing forward through the enemies. I do lose once because I forget how Vantage and Wrath interact with each other. I shit you not, Matcha dies to this at least once every single time I play this game. I never learn. A lot of my swords are starting to break, but thankfully this is the last indoor map for quite a while, so I can deal with that by letting my units use their actual weapons. Oh, fun fact! Galzus shows up on this map, and he has a slim sword, but his speed is capped. The first weapon light enough for Miss Noodle Arms to steal, and she's too slow to steal it. I make sure to grab the magic and skill rings, not to use them, but to sell them on the next map. Now I hear you cry out, how can you sell the stat boosters? Let me give you a little secret. Anyone who wants magic in FE5 will get magic. Not even going into scrolls to boost their growths, most mages get like 5 or 6 magic on promotion. They'll live. And I'm about to get the odd scroll for a 30% boost to my skill growth, so I'll be having no skill issues to remedy with the skill ring. I need to sell these items because gold is really important in a run like this. Remember when I said Thracia really wants you to use capture? Well, this is reflected in the prices of shops. Let's take the Iron Sword for example, the most basic of basic weapons in the entire franchise. Its price usually ranges from 300 to 500 gold depending the game, a cheap price for a cheap weapon. In Thracia, one Iron Sword costs you 2,200 gold. Selling a stat booster gets you 4,000 gold, so a stat booster alone would only get you a single iron weapon. If you want steel or silver, you can just forget that. Normally, you would capture a bunch of the shitty weapons enemies have, sell them in bulk for good ones, but without that, we're scraping every penny we can off the floor. Our saving grace is that, for whatever reason, axes are half the price of every other weapon across the board. So Osian, Dulcin, Marty, and the rest of the Axe Boys are going to be seeing a lot of screen time because they can actually afford their weapons. Not that 1,100 gold for an axe is cheap. Oh, right, the actual gameplay of Chapter 6. I just run away the whole time. Yeah, I just go to the 6 houses, run away, and escape without fighting anything I don't have to. I do die once because I fuck up the route and exposing myself to the guards, but a single reset and I'm out of there. Chapter 7 is business as usual. The hardest part is normally with the Myrmidons, as they have some powerful swords that can be worth risking the capture for, but that's kinda null and void here. I let the Cavalier reinforcements come to me, and since I grinded for that 1 point of con for Laura back on 4X, she can steal the Rapiers they have, so I steal 3 of them. I want to steal even more, but there are also reinforcements that have meteor tomes, so sticking around too long is too risky. I also want to deploy Laura for the next several maps, so I can't risk giving her too much fatigue before I get access to the stamina drinks to subvert it. Pushing through too fast though risks Shiva killing someone with his killing edge, so I send an unarmed Karen to fly down south. Shiva can resist a defenseless young woman about as much as Leonardo DiCaprio can, so he runs south to attack her, putting himself perfectly in range for Safi to talk to. From there, I just run south and end the chapter. Chapter 8 is a simple map by design. You're supposed to have a nice breather after the insanity of the Manster escape maps. And this map is just as simple here as it normally is. I steal the boss's vulnerary and Master Steel with Laura instead of capturing him and taking it from there, but other than that, the map is the same as the normal. You get Marty back, which since I gave his gear away in Chapter 3, he went into a shop to buy a hand axe. The fact that enemies buy items in this game if you steal their weapons is just so funny to me. I give Marty the Paragon Scroll. His high health, great promotion gains, potential for scroll abuse, and the fact that he uses axes means he'll get a lot of screen time here. I sell the luck ring you get to afford a bunch more axes, and with that, I leave the map and wish Dagdar and Tanya goodbye, since I can't capture the boss to get to 8x. Turns out I could have recruited one of them. Dagdar will join at the end of this chapter if Tanya is dead or captured, and Tanya will join at the end of this map if Dagdar is dead or captured. I would have just let Tanya get kidnapped if I had known this, but I didn't. So, hopefully missing out on Dagdar won't hurt too much? Maybe? Chapter 9 fucking hates me. The strategy isn't even that hard. I kill the Dragon Rider with Asbel, have Selphina stand on the gate to defend it, then grind Marty up to a respectable level. But people just kept fucking dying. Asbel would get hit by multiple 20%, Leaf would get killed by a bishop who high-rolled into a 20 damage meteor cast. Shit was just rough. But speaking of that bishop, he has a wind tome on him, and I steal it, since it's one of the few items Laura can take, and wind magic is just the best magic in the game. Then, I let archers and soldiers wail on Marty for a solid 30 turns. It takes a while, but being on the mountain means they will pretty much never hit him, and if they do hit him, they only do like 1 or 2 damage, and my reward? Haha! This beauty! All relevant stats above 10, massive HP pool. Ignore the 99 fatigue, the man is fucking dying. But he is dying with good stats. From there, I make sure to grab the Paragon Sword. It's a very important tool in the next map for me, and then I just get the hell out of Dodge. Chapter 10 starts with very fun and engaging gameplay. I keep having Laura level up on the first turn, and continually reset until her 3% con growth kicks in. This, like on 4X, takes about half an hour until it works, and then once it finally happens, Karen dies to a stray ballista shot I didn't realize she was in range of, forcing me to start the process all over again. Now I know what you might be asking. Why not just use a save state when Laura levels up with Con? And to that I say... But go figure, I wouldn't even need a save state, because the second time she gets Con, nothing goes wrong. The main strategy is to play like a little bitch and wait out the ballista. The thieves are the only real anti-turtle incentive, but if you visit the south house with Karen, risking just a single ballista shot on her, you can force them to come to the house up north, perfectly in your safe range, and then you can steal all their shit, mainly the stamina drinks and a lockpick. Nothing in this map moves to you if you don't move to it, except for Fred and Olwyn, but they leave before they get anywhere close to you anyway, allowing for a very safe clear after the beginning. I grind Laura up to 16 here and promote her. She can get a lot of XP by having the Paragon Sword equipped, and then getting attacked by Ballista for 20 experience a dodge. And what with the 50 or so Ballista shots here, that adds up very quickly, and my reward is this. Well, at least she's fast. Chapter 11 is fairly straightforward. There's not much new here that isn't in a normal playthrough. The only thing worth noting is that, due to the 2 con level ups I rigged and Laura's promotion gains, she can now steal Thunder Tomes, and there are 3 of them here for her to nab. Thunder isn't quite as good as Wind, but it's definitely better than Fire, so grabbing a bunch of them will pay off greatly, especially once I grab Homer. I do fuck up once in this chapter by not letting Fred escape, foolishly thinking he could survive the onslaught of Ballista, but other than that, it's an easy map. At the very end, after Kemp ran away and I was just taking the last of the Thunder Tomes, Laura got a level up of Con and Move. I guess Lara heard me talking shit about her stats last map and took that personally, which, fair enough, honestly.
You trespass on sacred ground. But, sir...
I really should do an LP or something on Ratchet & Clank. One of my favorite game series ever made, and I don't think I've talked about it once on the channel. Anyways, 11X has nothing new for a no-capture run. I steal the wind tomes at the end rather than capturing them, but other than that, this is same old, same old. The boss used his long-range tome on one of the children, who dodged. You know, that was kinda cool. Okay, moving on. Chapter 12 is fairly standard. Just rush to the houses, steal Colho's vantage scroll, and make out like a bandit. Every enemy here has an axe, so Lara can't steal anything aside from the scroll, but something real funny happened at the end of the map. Salem's AI here is kinda weird. He seems to use his sleep staff at random with no real rhyme or reason behind his targets. Well, he decides that the scrawny thief is the greatest threat to him and puts her to sleep, which means I just lost my thief before she could steal. However, in Thracia, new stat conditions will override the old ones, and Colho has a venom axe. I veer him into Lara and have him attack her, and lo and behold, he hits her and poisons her, waking her the fuck up and letting her steal from him. After that, I cry a tear for killing Salem instead of capturing him, and I end the map. 12X is a funky map. Safi only has B rank staves, so I can't just warp and recruit Pern to skip it, so I have to grind her up by letting her get attacked by arrows for an hour, the classic Laura method. And since I can't capture Trude to spare him, I have to let him escape. But while I lose Trude, I do manage to get the 2 Master Seals, the extra Warp Staff, and the Shield Ring, so it's not a total loss. From there, I recruit Tina and Pern and depromote Laura into a dancer. And you may ask yourself, why did you invest so heavily in Laura and promote her when you were going to get Pern? And I didn't think I was getting Pern. I thought the requirement for 12X was saving Salem, but no. The reward for saving Salem is Salem. 12X is unlocked by clearing 12 quickly. So all this time, I thought Laura was the only thief I was gonna get, so I gave her a ton of babying I didn't need to. All of those con levels, all those hours of rigging the first chapters, all because, in my hubris, I didn't check the guiding requirements because I was sure I already knew what they were. I read Oedipus in high school, and I didn't learn a goddamn thing about the dangers of hubris.
I'm a fool, I know nothing, I take the role of a silly clown.
Actually, it's not a complete loss, because all those movement level ups and con level ups do help her steal and dance, so she's still going to be a valuable part of my army moving forward. Chapter 13 is just business as usual. This is my Laura takes a breather map, so I just deploy Leaf and a bunch of cavalry and just go forward. Glade got fucking gatted by a critical hit from an armor, but he managed to shrug it off and the chapter ended without much incident. It's a refreshing map where the strategy isn't any different and nothing unusual happened to me. Of course, this is just in preparation for the best map in the whole goddamn game. Chapter 14 is my favorite chapter in the series, and I have it down to a science at this point in my FE playing career, and for the no capture run, there's only a few enemies we need to specially watch out for. The Thunder Mages and the Healers. The Thunder Mages are easy enough. They spawn for pretty much every turn on the map, so Pern has plenty of chances to take their school books like the bully that he is. The heal staves are a bit more difficult, because the 2 healers are running away from the very units they're supposed to be healing, and I can only get 1 healer, because the other runs directly to the Iron Ballista and Bolting Sage to the southwest of the map, and Pern will instantly die if he breathes in that general direction. This map basically serves as a Homer training arc too, as he gets his usual absurd level ups, and even gets a level up of move. You might be wondering why I'm not showing you that. This is because I paused recording to go do something. I think it was use the bathroom, and I forgot to unpause it when I came back. So my footage just jumps from turn 7 to the deployment screen for 14X. But here's my not yet promoted Homer and my promoted Fergus to show the results of my labor on 14. I also had Safi use a warp and a rescue staff to get Dean's Dragon Pike. I felt like that was worth it. Chapter 14X is a simple map, if an annoying one. This is where I grind up Tina and Linoan to a respectable level. I make a block in the middle of the map, killing the finite reinforcements as they come to me, and I let Tina heal my units who start slowly dying of poison. And thanks to her abysmal accuracy, she continues to miss heals, which means her staff uses don't get taken away. Economic grinding. It's at the very end that tomfoolery is afoot, as Dean misses 4 straight attacks on the boss where his hit rate was 60%. Because of this, to stop the boss from nuking Linoan, I have to sacrifice one of the green units on the map to the boss, which means I get 1 less stamina drink. Oh, and valuable human life is lost, or whatever. Then, shit gets even more unfortunate when the second boss of the map, because this map has 2 bosses for some damn reason, procs his movement star, and with his second move, he could easily kill Linoan, but he chooses to go after Laura instead, who easily dodges him. I swear, maybe someone out there on God's green earth can comprehend Fire Emblem AI, but I'll be damned if that person is me. Chapter 15 is a break map. I don't do anything in it. In fact, its design is supposed to be the break map after Chapter 14. So I just go to the houses, I buy some door keys because you never have too many of them lying around, and then I leave. There for less than 5 turns. Chapter 16 has a few interesting things going on. For starters, we need to look at the boss, Rheincock. First, we laugh because his name has cock in it. And second, we take a peek at that berserk staff he has. Tina's thief staff, unlike every other offensive staff, still works on bosses on gates, so we nab that staff for ourselves.
With this, we can now do a lot of trolling.
Second, we nab the Poogie from a berserker to the south, so Osian has a new proof weapon. Why does a random berserker have Osian's proof? Why did Osian have a proof to begin with? Thracia's really weird. We also need to make sure to nab Shanam here, and he's the entire reason I chose to go this route. Shanam is a joke unit. He's pretending to be Prince Shannon, but he's really just a con man. And it shows, all of his stats fucking suck. However, as a con artist, he has the bargain skill, having the prices from all shops. Given our limited firepower, this skill is huge, and will be a great boon to us when we want to stock up for the final battles. Chapter 17 starts with one of our favorites, grinding for a con level up, this time on Pern. Thankfully, his con growth is 10%. Not great, but much more manageable than Laura's 3. I want to grind this out because there are physics staves on this map, and Pern's 1 con off from base from being able to steal them. Physic is a very valuable staff that we'd normally have access to from near the start of the game, but due to Laura's noodle arms, we've been up the creek without a paddle. There is a shop here that you would think we would be able to use our newly acquired Shanam for, but all it sells are bows, and my best archer is Marty with a whopping E rank in bows, so no spending spree just yet. We pick Amalda's pockets for everything she's got, getting a new scroll, and piecing out of this map without too much of a struggle. Chapter 18 is just recruiting Xavier. For a no-capture run, nothing is different here. Enemies really don't have anything good to capture except for the boss, and he's kinda designed to be stolen from, not captured. You might wonder why I'm showing you a black screen. That's because I genuinely believe a blank image is more entertaining than watching footage of someone trying to recruit Xavier, because it is just several hours of fucking up and trying to get the stupid fucking green units to talk to the right people. And at the end of it all, when that red armor shifts to blue, and I think that I have at last achieved the enlightened nirvana and peace of mind, I forget that the Master Lance the boss has a Brave effect that lets him attack twice, and Leaf gets hit by both 40% and fucking dies! And I have to do the whole Xavier thing all over again! And for what? A good unit? I ain't gonna act like Xavier is bad, far from it, but all this suffering for a guy who's just good? For all the damn suffering you do to get him, Xavier should be able to solo the game, do my taxes, and suck my dick at the same time! God, this took me hours!
What the hell was that all about?
Okay. Almost lost my cool there. Chapter 19 is a breeze compared to the last map. I use my 3 flyers to fly around, visit the houses, and then I run the hell away. Fairly standard stuff. I could use Pern and Laura to steal some heal staves from Malda's troops, but given how strong they are, and the killer weapons they wield, I opt to play it safe and just run away. I do grind Leaf a little bit at the end, sticking him on the gate and letting him fight the enemies until he gets some levels. And the enemies form the Great Wall of Troubadour around him? I don't know what their game plan is here, but I am intrigued. Chapter 20 is normally a pretty tough map, but thanks to buying all those door keys several maps ago, I'm able to circumvent the rough beginning of it. And from there, I use the magical power of standing where reinforcements are supposed to be to blockade any more enemies from showing up past the first wave of mages. Remember, it is illegal to spawn in where someone already is. You have to wait your turn, young man. For our no capturing purposes, the bishops have a nice amount of staves we can steal, and the group of armor knights to the northeast have killing edges for us. Pern will gladly nab them up. My only difficulty is at the very end. I misread where and when certain enemies spawn in, and neglected to barricade the meteor mages, causing Kanomor to do his best Anakin Skywalker impression. Even when I'm reading the answers to a question, I still get it wrong. Honestly, that's impressive. But it's only a mild setback, as it did give me a chance to more efficiently steal the killing edges. Fergus and Karen are gonna love Pern today. Chapter 21 is a long one, but not really a hard one if you play it safe. And we play it pretty much as Dev intended, since Pern is fatigued and needs a nap. The only thing I would want to steal is the Fortify staff at the end, but I don't think that's really big enough to warrant using a whole stamina drink for. At the start of the map, I use the Berserk staff on the Wyvern boss to the south, and it is so cathartic to watch him kill himself. This is for Let's Play Thracia episode 28. I never forgot and I never forgave. Anyways, this map is the one we bring Shanam on, and he helps net us some silver axes, some silver swords, and some wind tomes. A good haul that will help us through the final maps. The bulk of this map is just letting Xavier, bulk Ballista. He's damn good at it, and he's the best in the army at it, thanks to Dagdar's unfortunate disappearance. Once that's been cleared, finishing the map is easy, and we nab Lenoan's promotion while we're here. And as always, I'm left wondering why FE5 Sage promotion gains are so goddamn busted. They didn't need this, guys. Chapter 22 is infamously the hardest map in the game, arguably the hardest map in the entire series, but we have ourselves the power of pristine cheese to help carry us through it. Initially, I was gonna Berserk Reinhardt and win that way. Since he has Vantage, making him always attack first, and a Brave Tome, he kills his entire squad with no effort. But then, I realized I had an even better weapon. I'm finally going to embrace my status as an online content creator and use an underaged girl. Sarah can use the Rewarp Staff and put herself directly at the fort we need to seize, and whenever a unit gets too close to Syas, the Bishop forces him to flee, removing his status staves and his passive buff from the battlefield. Now you would think that would expose Sarah to danger and get her killed, but you see, I failed to realize Sarah is the danger. With her high speed, luck, and the terrain bonus she gets, she has a respectable dodge chance to anything that could kill her. Combined with her miracle skill, which gives roughly 40% chance to survive a lethal blow, Sarah can just stand there and kill Reinhardt and Cohen and force Syas to flee, taking out all 3 bosses on this map single-handedly. From there, I just warp Leaf over and clear the map. God bless Thracia and its obscene cheese potential. Chapter 23 is another one that I warp skip. Nothing here is worth stealing, and none of my units really need any training. I warp Leaf over to Syas, grab the blade, and then warp him over to the boss, letting Leaf kill everything in sight. He does get a few levels of skill in Con, which definitely help, and then I nab Sed. Syas unfortunately passes away due to being too slow to dodge, but since I'm not recruiting him, that doesn't matter at all. Join Lithus and Salem, buddy. Unfortunately, since I can't capture, I don't have as many warp staves as someone at this point normally would. I only have 4 uses of warp and some of rescue, meaning I'll have to play most of the final maps legitimately. I can't believe I'm gonna have to play the game like a normal person. Chapter 24 is a straightforward map, and for our no-capture purposes, the only thing that would be of interest is the room full of bishops to the bottom right. Now, I could send Pern in there to nab all their staves, but here's the thing. I don't want to fuck with that room. So instead, I use the silent staff to make the ones that are relevant to me shut the fuck up. Now that they can't speak, they can't use their status staves, and I don't even attempt to open the door to their room. From there, we just beat the map as usual. Lenone and Marty make quick work of the left side, Galzus and Leaf make quick work of the center, easy peasy. I will say that on turn 8, a bishop spawns in and opens the door to the bishops, but for some reason, only a single silenced bishop runs toward me. Everyone else just stays in the room. I figured he wanted me to put him out of his misery, and who am I to tell a man no? Chapter 24X sucks. I'm a huge Thracia defender, but this map is a damn chore. There's nothing here for us. The enemies do have extra rewarp staves, but at this point they aren't too helpful. I don't need any more, so I just beat the map as intended, by rewarping Sed into the middle of it and letting him go to town. I get a veil back, I get the hell out of this map, and I prepare myself for the final battle. The final chapter is basically just 6 boss rooms spread about the map, and clearing them opens up the final boss room. Shit, did I say 6? I actually meant 2. See these 4? They don't matter. No one cares what's in them, the bosses are easy. The other 2 have fake Galzus and fake Sarah, and they really hurt. Your attempt at the map basically boils down to, did you kill those 2 bosses? If yes, you have nothing to be afraid of. If no, you will die. Once they're down, after Sed decides to stop dying to them, the way to Veld opens up, and though my heart wants the Marty party to end it, I know it needs to be Galzus, and the man does his job perfectly, killing Veld and ending the game. Except he would, but I didn't realize Leaf was too far away from the throne. After a panicked killing of a bunch of Lapterian mages, now the Thracia no-capture run is finished. And overall, it was surprisingly not that hard. I had thought that playing through Thracia without one of its central mechanics would have been harder, but really, all this playthrough was not having Lithus for Manster. Rigging con levels might not even have been needed if my dumbass just knew I could get Pern. The idea was definitely 100% better in my head. As the playthrough went on, it became less of, look at what I'm doing for the spirit of the run, and more, look at this dumb shit you can do in Thracia, which, I mean, if that ain't Thracia in a nutshell, I don't know what is. Would I recommend you try this challenge yourselves? Honestly, no. I would recommend just playing Thracia on its own, though. The game is super fun and enjoyable, and if nothing else, this run has reinforced my love for this perfectly unbalanced gem of a game. If you want to check out more of what I do character analysis videos on Fire Emblem characters. Every character you see on the screen right now is a video I've done. Check them out, you might learn a thing or two. I would like to thank my patrons for their support, including Adebayo Thompson, Andrew Crockett, Benz Again, Dr. McBackstab, Fire Emblem Lord, Follow Pen to the North Star on Twitch, Great Riek, Hell on Heelys, I meant to go by Ganglelizabeth last time but I forgot to change my name, Jespacito 2, Keithan, Lightning Bolt, Neverick the Tourmaline Project Creator, Ranger Man Sam, Ryan Walter, Shen Lu, Space1255, Steph D, Tato, Your Girl Olwyn, Auntie Ginger, Brentendo11, Drew Hack, Goo Goo Gaga, Cornelia Milkers 92, Max the Knife, and Upscale Furry Trash. Thank you all for your continued support, and I'll see you for whatever bullshit I come up with next.